Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Not sure where this is going to take us, but we're working on a, I don't know, Tao Tao or something. Chinese little quad. The 125. A friend of mine brought the carburetor and the machine to me saying you can't get it to run. So I did a little investigative work into the carburetor. I took it apart. It looks perfectly fine in there. It looks spotless. I don't think this machine has been ridden very much. The battery is toast, absolutely flat, dead junk. Won't even take a charge. So got a little booster pack up there. But what I want to do is put a splash of gas down the intake hole. Let's see if we can get it to fire up. Everything is wide open in here. Light bulb. That's where the carb bolts do, so I just want to put a splash of gas in there, give it a crank, see what happens. Oh, let me grab my little gas bottle here. So I've got they've got switches to interlock everything on these things. So I got the brake lever is pulled and it's locked on. The start switch is in the start position. Let's see. Let's get the booster turned on here. Okay, so, alright, it'll crank. Well, let's get a little splash in there. Actually, might get some in there. Alright, hit starter, let's see. Okay, so it wants to run. Tells me it's got spark. That's good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just bolt the carburetor back on there. A little gasket for the top of the carburetor. I'm going to bolt the carb back on. I'm going to turn the gas on, and I'm going to use the drain on the bottom of the carburetor bolt to make sure I'm getting gas to the carburetor. And we'll go from there. I haven't seen anything wrong with this thing yet. I don't know, I might get lucky. So, give me a sec, get you in the stand. We'll get the carb bolted on there and carry on. Alright, it's going to be kind of hard to film all of us in there, so what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to grab the gas line into this cup and see if we're getting any fuel. Oh yeah, we get some fuel. Let's start. Check to see what's in that fuel, see if there's any water and junk in it. No, it looks pretty clean and clear. So we'll get the carburetor on there. We'll get our throttle slide put in first. There's our idle screw. Screws on that side. Little notches and stuff to line up in here. That's on. All kinds of things to line up that I can't see. Get in your home. Well, the gasket's got a slot in it. Just trying to see which way I gotta orient this thing. There we go. Slots. Get the slide back in there where it belongs. Well, that didn't go to plan. On the fingers. Okay, get the slide back in where it belongs. It's in. This part's going in. Mostly. Lid. Get in there. And everything is spring loaded, trying to fly out. So it's not helping. Trying to get the ring started. At least there we go. Maybe. Yeah. So that's in there and on, and the gasket's in place. I'm just going to bump the throttle. make sure it's going up and down, it's releasing, it's nice and free, which it is. Oh, my arm's probably in the way. And I'm doing it left-handed. I'm not a lefty. That one started. Get the other bolt started there. Perhaps, maybe. That started. There's a little vent line. So there's a fuel line that comes down from a fuel filter under the tank here. There's a filter right here. Oh, there's a bit of a kink in that line. That may be an issue. We'll see. Yeah, so there's a line that comes down from a filter from the tank to a filter to another piece of tube that goes on the side of the fuel inlet. There's another hose back here that runs into a filter that runs to the crankcase for ventilation. So, just gotta fidget these bolts back in. We'll get that. I'll put the fuel line on there now. I'll get that crank vent hooked up. I didn't take this machine apart. It came to me in pieces, so exact routing of hoses and cables and stuff is going to be winging it, but that looks pretty well the way it's got to go. So I'm going to start the tedious job of threading these in with an open-end wrench, slowly, surely. And we'll get the camera back on when I'm ready to test for fuel. Okay, so I've got the carb bolted up, I've got the fuel system hooked up, I've got the breather hooked up. This is the overflow tube from the bottom of the carburetor, which I have opened the screw. It's a drain. It's an overflow / drain. If you can, when you tighten the screw, the fuel would have to go all the way up past the carb bowl gasket, and it goes down a little brass tube and comes out the hose. Or if you open the screw, it will allow you to drain the bowl. So what I'm going to do is, what I have done is I've opened the drain. The carburetor is empty. The fuel is off. I'm going to turn the fuel on to make sure that some fuel comes out of here. That'll tell me if the carb is actually getting fuel. So fuel is on. Should be coming from the tank into the bowl of the carburetor. There we go. We are getting fuel out of there. So the bowl is getting some fuel. Just see if I can reach through and shut the valve from this side here. Of course, it's on the other side of the carburetor. Not that there's a whole bunch of fuel in that bowl, just there's a tiny little bit. And did I? Oh yeah, I actually managed it. Going by feel, I was able to get that little flat screw. There we go, now it's tight. So we know that the carburetor is getting fuel to the bowl. Tuck that little line down somewhere. There it is, there's a little clamp for it. Again, I didn't take this apart. There's a little spot to set that, to route it. Okay, well, really, that's choke. Choke is up. Are you still looking where I'm saying? There. Choke is up. That's off. I say we give it a shot. Turn fuel back on. So you're going to give it a minute. Make sure that the bowl is going to fill all the way to the top and not come out the overflow. I don't want it to come out of that overflow tube now. So that would tell me I'd have a float or a needle and seat problem. I got the garage door all shut, but I can hear through the wall that somebody's got a little two-stroke something running, revving up, and not sure what it is. I'm not seeing fuel out of the overflow, so let's give her some choke. Let's give her a hit with a... Oh, I've got to turn my battery booster thing back on. And let's see. Okay. Ready? Running, but it's not running right. Or somebody could have messed with the idle too, so that I don't know. The idle speed screw. I'll give it a little more idle and see what happens. Whoa, well, it is running extremely rich. We got black smoke huffing out the exhaust. The shop is filling up. We could have either a carburetor problem, maybe the jet's not right, or maybe a spark plug is breaking up. It's not quite getting the spark that it should be getting. It's not even quite that hot yet, so we could have a coil breaking up. Could be a number of different things. But I'm going to pull the plug and have a look there. See what I can see. But first I'm going to air out the shop. Man, it's getting kind of choky in here. Stand by, we'll get our camera fired up when I can breathe again. Okay, so with it running so rich, it was becoming like soup here in the garage. The thick black smoke was getting terrible. And I seem to remember that the customer dropping off, he said something about drilling something in the carburetor. He didn't do it, but somebody he knows did it, and I'm not sure what he was saying, so try to get a hold of him and find out what the details on that are. But in the meantime, I was just messing with stuff a little bit, and all of a sudden it just wouldn't start for me anymore, so it blew. The spark plug was no good, so the NGK plug that I pulled out of it, I checked it for spark against the head stud here. I had no spark. I got spark directly from the wire. When I put a small screwdriver in it, I would get a spark from the wire. It tells me the coil was working, but the spark plug itself wasn't spark. So I picked up a new one at the local parts store, popped it in, got a spark, got it to, and I thought, no, maybe, you know what? Maybe the spark plug was breaking up. Maybe it wasn't quite 100%. It's possible it was starting to go. So put the new one in there, give it a fire up, and sure enough, still huffing black smoke. So I gotta wait for the customer to let me know what's going on with that carburetor, what has been done with it. We'll have to come back and revisit this one. But for now, it's got to come off the hoist. I got a little work to do. So I'll fire the camera back up when I get a little more details and information on this one here. Okay, so I've got some information on this carburetor from the owner. It has been apart. Somebody's been monkeying with it. And when it was underneath there, it looked what was appeared to be a cracked carb body near the main jet. And it could be that it's sucking extra fuel in through that crack. So, anyways, I have a replacement carburetor for it. Got a new carburetor. It's a replacement for this model machine. So we're going to whip it off of there. and give it a shot. So let me get some, get a ratchet in there. And we'll get that carburetor off. I've already unscrewed the throttle off the top and popped the fuel line off and the air filter. That's just real easy stuff. Just pop it out real quick. Couple of bolts hold the carburetor on. 10mm socket and a ratchet. One there. I could do it the easy way and just try and slide the old throttle slide into the new carburetor, but I'm not sure if the needle's even correct. So I'm not gonna risk that. I'm just gonna put the complete carburetor on, including the new throttle slide. Not quite identical, but it is a replacement for this carburetor. I'll put these side by side and show you something here. So that's an idle mixture or pilot, one or the other. This is the new carburetor. It's there, it's adjustable. This is the old carburetor. It had a plug there. I had to actually pop that plug out so I can get to that screw. It was set at the factory, preset at the factory, not adjustable, well, not easily adjustable, but that didn't help us in this case, so we're going to put a new one in. We'll slide that new carburetor in there. And see what happens. See what happens. Get these bolts started straight. Maybe. The threads were a little boogered when I took it apart the first time, so I don't want to booger them going in though. See how that works for us. That looks better. Of course the threads are tight all the way. Top quality manufacturing right there. The bolt is straight. The threads are tight. Yeah, I'm going to have to tap it. And threads on the bolt aren't very good. Yeah, okay. Let's see if I have a new metric bolt for that. I'll tap the body of the carburetor. Well, I'll try a new bolt first. Hang on, let me see if I can dig up in the junk bin. Alright, I found a replacement bolt in the junk bin, and there's not much light over here. Let's see if I can get something. Maybe. The light's going to be horrible. We're going to change this throttle slide here with the needle. That's the main jet needle. We'll slide the spring up and we'll capture it with our fingers, and then it'll allow us to unhook this cable from the slide here. Do not release it. I'm going to grab hold of the new slide, get it hooked in its little home, drop back in. Nice. We're going to try and reuse that old cap because I think it's the same, looks the same. This is where our gasket goes and our top hat. Now we got to try and weasel it into the top of the carb there without losing everything. These slides do orient themselves a certain way. There's a slot on the one side for alignment, and the slot on the other side is for your idle speed screw. Adjusts it. It's a little ramped ramped area of the carburetor slide. Alright, so that seems to be sitting there. Hopefully our cap screws on. Our old cap on the new body. It was not easy actually to get this cap on the old body. Didn't want to go on straight. Well, it went on better. This carb better than the original. So that's on there. Check our throttle. It's activating. Alright. Our fuel line is hooked up. Our overflow tube is routed correctly. I have no idea what the idle is currently set at. I have no idea what the idle mixture is currently set at. But we're going to give her a go anyways. We'll reposition that camera. Get us a better view. So stand by. Alright, let's see how this works. Turn the fuel on. Choke on. I'm going to try it with choke off first. Overflow tube is there. I'm going to give it a second. Just check to see if anything comes out of the overflow tube. Make sure the carb is actually not overflowing. Key is on. Kill switch on. Hit start. Look at that. Huh. Runs right away. Runs pretty good actually. Well, we know it's carburetor problem. I might have to road test this. I'll let it warm up just a little bit, and I'm going to monkey with the idle mixture just see if it changes. Definitely going to have to road test this beast, get it warm, and do the adjustments on the carburetor once I get it warmed up and actually under a load. Revving it in neutral will give you an idea of what's going on, but it's not going to be ideal for tuning. But it does run actually a lot better than it did before. I'm going to pull the bottom off that carburetor here, and I'll show you what I was looking at as far as the crack that I saw on the main jet. Give me one sec here, and we'll pull this carburetor off. Down here. Of course it's full of gas. A little container there. It's actually old yellow gas. Doesn't smell the freshest. I think it's been sitting a bit. I think a fresh tank of gas would be ideal for testing. I might drain it out, put some fresh gas in it. A little bit of sea foam. Yeah, that crack is there and it's open. So I'm not sure how well the camera's gonna pick it up. I'm trying. Show you here. Camera. Just to the base of that main jet, right there, there's a crack. See that crack there? Fuel, because it was running rich, that little jet is what meters the amount of fuel that's able to go up into the carburetor. And because there's a crack here, that fuel is likely seeping right through that crack by the threads of the jet holder, and it's overfeeding it. My assumption, and the symptoms fit my assumption, overfueling. So that's that. I'm going to put a little seafoam in that fuel just to see how that works. I'm going to take it for a little burn down the driveway. Well, here she is back in her resting place where she sat while she was waiting for a new carb. Does run good. Did a little tweaks and tunes in the carburetor for the mixture and the idle speed. Overall runs pretty good. As good as they run anyways. I don't have any footage of me riding it because I don't like riding them too much when the batteries are no good, because it overworks the stator. And you don't need to burn that out. You burn a stator out on one of these, you just scrap the machine. It's not worth fixing them. So parked it. Let the customer know it needs a battery. He's going to let me know whether he wants me to get a battery or if he's going to pick one up himself. But we're going to wrap this video up, guys. That's basically a carburetor problem. It was stopping this thing from running. It was running way too rich. It was so rich it wrecked the spark plug. Had to replace that as well. But anyways, thanks for joining me on this one, where we fixed this Tao Tao 125 little ATV quad. Don't forget to hammer that like button. Give me a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe if you like. And if you do subscribe, don't forget to click that bell icon to notify you when I upload new videos. Till the next one, guys, take care.